have pages like, "And that's when I realized I had stepped in dog poop. Scratch here." Ugh. I kept digging through my closet and found stuff from kindergarten, like a fish I made by tracing my hand onto a piece of card. I used to love doing arts and crafts back then, and if anyone ever tried to bully me about it, they'd get a face full of glitter. Another project I found in my closet was a gift I made for my mom in preschool but never gave her. It was a paper flower with a picture of my face in the middle glued to a popsicle stick. Huh? When I made the thing, I put it in a little plant pot filled with earth, but I tripped on the front step when I got home from school that day, and that's why I never gave it to her. Whoa! Ugh. I was glad when I finally reached the back of my closet, but to be honest, I was a little disappointed too. When I was younger, I read this book about these kids who could visit a whole different world by going through their wardrobe, and I always wondered if I might be able to do the same thing with mine. But I thought that whoever lived on the other side might not be too happy with me for tossing all my junk in there over the years. Like the half-goat guy might not like my basketball bouncing at him in the snow. When I told Mom I was done emptying my closet today, she said I needed to put everything into 3 piles. 1 to keep, 1 to donate, and 1 to throw away. But I figured if I had to let go of any of my junk, I might as well make some money from it. So I decided to have a yard sale. Mom thought that was a great idea, so she gave me a magazine that had all sorts of tips on how to do it right. It was called Family Frolic. Throw an epic yard sale. Books, toys, 50 hot tips and tricks. All the ideas in the magazine were corny and old-fashioned, though. There was one section on how to create a sign to get people to come to your yard sale, and all the examples they showed were really boring. They said things like, "Cool stuff, sale," or "Look, yard sale this way," or "Yard sale, Saturday, 8 to 11 a.m. I knew that if I wanted people to actually show up at my yard sale, I needed to do something a little more eye-catching. So I whipped up a sign I knew would do the trick. It said, $100 bill found on pavement. Please come to 12 Surrey Street to claim your property. I made a few copies of my sign and headed out to post them around the neighborhood, but Mom stopped me before I got out of the front door. She read it and said, "Mm-mm." Mom made me make signs that were more like the ones in the magazine, and after I finished, I stapled them to some telephone poles on our street. Then I hauled everything down from my bedroom and started setting it all out on some plastic tables. Each table had its own category, like clothes and books and that kind of thing. But some stuff wasn't easy to categorize, so I had to get creative. I had a bunch of gifts from my grandparents and older relatives that I've never even touched. So I put all those things together on one table, and I called the table Great Gifts for Your Grandkids. There were things like cups with silly faces, and mounted fish, and snow globes, and windmills, and wavy cats. I also had a bunch of birthday cards that were still in pretty good shape, so I used some Tipp-Ex to cover up my name and set them out on their own table. I wrote a sign on it, and it said, "Pre-written birthday cards, just add money." I put all my broken toys on another table and hoped some little kids who couldn't read would come to the yard sale. The sign said, "Fun toys. You break it, you buy it." I stuffed all my random items, like